Alright, now we're going to look at how curves affect animation. I always start out with that very simple problem here. First off, Shift W, move it to 24 frames. This time I'm not moving it, I'm moving it from here to here, but not to the edge of the grid. And then in 12, I'm just going to raise it up. And there we have boom. Okay, one simple boom on the timeline here. Alright, good. Now, let's go into Graph Editor. Let's explore tangents. Okay, what are tangents? Well, if I go into a single keyframe and highlight it, I have this rocker arm. Okay, you can think of that as a tangent. Right now I can adjust it. I can move this rocker arm like that, and it affects the curve. Let's only look at Y. With this curve kind of tweaked like this, let's look at the animation. Okay, it has little potential energy, and then all of a sudden it jumps and then goes back down. This feels very unnatural, against science even. Okay, if I screw up things, I could just hit auto tangent, and it pretty much goes back to where I had it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is hit these tangents and let you see them as they go across the timeline. This is something that you could do also. In fact, it would probably be more thrilling than me going in there and doing it for you and watching it via video, but here we go. So here's another tangent. You can see this one's got more of a kind of a hop, or it feels like it's going to go in a circle. Here's a linear tangent where it's just going up, down, up, down. So it's very binary. And last but not least, the step tangent, which is completely binary. It's either down or up, but it's nothing in between. And you can see how this has really affected the curve. Okay, so I'm just going to switch it back to auto. What I want to do is make it so it has like a lot of potential energy and it gets spent and then goes back up and gets more energy from it bouncing. So I need to see what the next bounce looks like. Well, I'm going to show you a way to do that. So I'm going to highlight all my translate Y, X, Y, and Z and highlight all my curves. Then I'm going to go to curve, pre-infinity, cycle with offset. And then curves, post-infinity, cycle with offset. This is a good way to experiment with curves and see how the outcome of just tweaking tangents affects animation. So that's the only reason why I'm teaching you this, is because, it's a good science thing. Alright, so right now, if I added more keyframes to the mix and hit play, you'll see it has another bounce. And as many keyframes as I add, let's say I had 100 out here, effectively the ball would just bounce forever until it ran out of keyframes. Okay, so let's affect the curve. Again, high potential energy being spent. That means I go like this. Notice the handle there. It's right on the line. Okay. And you can kind of use this graph too if you really think about it. See how it's being broadcast through and clipping. You can kind of give that graph or a look over and see if this side is equal to that side. The only bad thing about pre-infinity and post-infinity is the fact that I'm kind of dreaming up what this other side looks like. And I'm pretty sure that you can change that too. I'll look at that in the next video. But watch this. The important thing is, now when you click play, notice it has more of a bouncy feel. The only thing that makes it look unnatural is the fact that it's going up in the air, then dragging down. Like, where's it getting the energy to drag across like that? Alright, well, let's look at the curve. What propels it forward is X. So in X, maybe we should make this a little bit more linear. Like that. Let's look at it now. A little bit better. What if we shorten its travel? Okay, let's do that. So if it's propelling in X, and you can see that the first bounce is right there. Okay, if I move this down, what happens? It scoots in. Okay, let's look at it now. Okay, again, if you look at what I've done, it has a slight bend right here. Even that slightest bend will make it look odd. So I want to straighten that out just a little bit. Alright, a little bit better feel to it. If we wanted to go higher up in the air, we can go to the translate. We can move this up. And you start getting this rhythm. And you just have to feel the rhythm. That's the whole thing with animation, is it's the beauty of the rhythm that makes it interesting. Alright, so now that we've seen pre-infinity and post-infinity, we're going to now take that to a different level and not have it pre-infinity, post-infinity. I just wanted to show you that via curves and what happens when you augment the curve. But in the next video, let's use it in a practical application, like, let's say, having ball bounce downstairs. What happens? Alright, so let's move on.